What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we are back at 131 Motorsports Park. We got the Camaro. This is just a test and tune night. We got slicks on the Camaro. I'm going to try to talk fast because I got music playing on the radio. Put a new torque converter in this thing, and this is Larry Kirkham's converter. That one and set the record. This is his exact converter we put in this thing. So hoping to just go down the track. We got drag radius on it so we don't risk spinning. We brought the Firestones just in case we need them. But right now I'm just gonna make a pass and try to ease into it and go like mid 1.560 foot and see what it runs out the back door before we try to make a hook on the bias plies. How well you heard that intro because it was loud, they were playing music. But we got Larry Kirkham's torque converter in here that set the record. He sent it to us. Still think it's gonna be a little tight for this thing. But for right now, I'm just trying to go down the racetrack and find mile an hour. We found power on the dyno, but it didn't show on the racetrack. So trying to get it to show going down the track. Shift. Got no idea why it wouldn't shift from first to second. Maybe we're a little low on fluid. I laid into it in high gear to see what the air fuel was. 12.5, 12.6, so that looks good. Why it didn't shift, I don't know. Just have to check the fluid. Alright, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this right here is banging the limiter in first gear, which is not good. The converter flashed at 4,400, which isn't bad, but that's on these tires. It's going to flash different. I mean, I left like normal, but it went 151 60 foot. I don't know where the ticket went. Yeah, 151 60 foot, which is good on bias plies on a test and tune night, which it doesn't have bias plies on it right now. But we added a quart of fluid, gonna check it out, maybe add another quart. I don't know, there was nothing on the dipstick, and then go out again. Alright guys, well, the math doesn't add up because converter shouldn't hold more than a quart, and since we put the converter in it, I've put 2.5 quarts in it. Still not reading on the dipstick. I don't know what the heck's going on. Looks like this G8 didn't even roll through tech. He just, yeah, he don't have no numbers or nothing. Dang, that sucks. He waited through the line and everything, and then, yeah, he didn't go through tech. Must be his first time out here. So yeah, as I was saying, I can't believe it was over 2 quarts low, but we'll see. It didn't want to shift, like, at all. See, these tires are going to allow the converter to flash higher because I'll be able to get into the throttle a little harder. I'm going to try not to do that, but I accidentally went a 151 60 foot, which doesn't help our case. I want to be like a 155, but they're pulling our lane now. I hate to say it, but that's not it. I can make that pass on bias plies, and in this weather, this thing should have flown. I went on 149 60 foot, which is so-so. I can get that on bias plies on a good racetrack. 613 at 117, which again is not that bad. 950 at 144. There's no way we picked up 75 horsepower and are still only going 144. Absolutely no way. We got another issue somewhere. That's not it. What? That's just not it. It's just not. Things should have went way faster than that. It's not getting lean. I mean, it shifted a little lazy first and second. But that should have been a 4.0. That's a tenth off in a few miles an hour from picking up 74, 75 horsepower.
Oh, that's a problem.
Come out the valve cover?
Yeah. Watch this. Watch when I open this up. Let me get it on 100 so you get the true effect.
I blew it off.
I mean, it's
leaking 17%.
Let's try and rock. That was not so bad.
Only leaking 8.
Still, 8 is not. Anything over 6 is.
We got 10. So we're 10, 7, 15, 7, and then what number 4 over here was what, 25? 20?
No, it was also 15.
Oh, it was 15. That was the one that was blowing the cap up.
No, the one blowing the cap up was 6. It was like 19.5.
Oh. This is also something I was kind of worried about. These plugs are like orange. Not this one. That one's not showing water.
That's why this side, the leak down's better.
This one showed like some water. That's not water because it's not white. I don't know what that is. It's wet or something.
When the rings don't have a good seal and it goes down, it brings contaminants from the oil pan up with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but this was 2 and 4. Wasn't 6 the bad one?
They are all a little weak on that side.
So obviously we found a cylinder that was leaking a little more than we like. When I say leaking, we pump 100 pounds of air in the cylinder. It was leaking 15 pounds of that down past the rings into the pan. That's a naturally aspirated engine, so you don't want to see it any more than like 5, 10 is on edge for something like that. It doesn't have forced induction to kind of make up for that. So we are back in the shop. I'm gonna put this bad boy right on the dyno, right off the track. And I gotta move the dually out of here. And then we made 760, I think, was our best pull when we put that converter in it. Or when we put another converter in it, when we took the other converter that was robbing power out. So now we're gonna see if we've hurt the motor. Remember, it was going lean on the last video at the top end of the racetrack. So we're gonna see if we've hurt the motor by that. That's going to tell us why it's not going any faster right now, or we got another issue. I mean, with the air, that thing should have went every bit of 148 mile an hour. Should have been like a 920, 930 pass easily, and it just wasn't. So, yeah, we're going to put this thing in here and see what the heck is going on. Not a horsepower thing. It's made 756.
It's a waste of time getting on the dyno.
No. All right, well, obviously, we've got an issue that we need to figure out. Personally, I just think the converter's too tight. But the confusing part about this whole thing is I dug up some time slips. We need to see time slips and data. So this was today. This was a 149 60 foot, 950 to 144, making 760 horsepower. This was at Indy when I had drag radials on it, and it broke the drive shaft, I believe. It broke the drive shaft the pass after this. On drag radials, went 146 60 foot, 604 at 116 versus the 613 at 117. And it went 946 at 142. That is this motor with my bolt together converter that is sitting there in the bucket draining. And that is with like 730 horse to the tire according to the dyno. This is the fastest I've ever been in the car on the polyglass tires. This was racing my dad, first pass this year. See 5/12 of 2022. Fast at Martin, first race of the year. Again, this was on polyglass tires. Went 146 60 foot, 610 at 116, and 950 at 143 72. So that and today's pass are like super identical. This would have went faster today on the drag radials. It was lazy shifting from first to second. I don't know what the heck's going on. Something wrong with the tranny, I believe. That's a fresh tranny. That's not the tranny we broke with the drive shaft. That's a different tranny. It's got a 210 first gear. Not the tranny I normally run. I don't know what this ticket's up here for. That's a 968 at 141. That was at Norwalk. 155 60 foot. That's slow. It's easy to go 960s. Get this thing to go faster than that is a pain. And then right here is Kirkham's ticket. This is the, well, my ticket in Kirkham's car. This is the pass that set the record. Is it? This actually isn't the record pass. This is a few hundredths slower. But that's a 143 60 foot. And that is a 598 at 118. And then 931 at 147. So somewhere this thing is not happy. I think it's the converter. I think I've got two converters that the car just doesn't like. I need to have somebody build a converter for it. That's kind of what the converter I had in it. It was a bolt together so we could change internal parts. But I think we're just going to go with a totally new converter for this thing. Because we need this 760 horse that it's making. But it's obviously not showing that 760 going on the racetrack. It's only showing like 730. Kirkham's car, I mean, going 147 mile an hour, it actually went 148, is showing this amount of power. His car made 745, I think, the day after we set the record, before we pulled his engine out. So I got to figure out why this thing is not running. I put a hood on that isn't cut up underneath, didn't make a bit of difference. So I'm just totally confused and lost and kind of tired of this thing. Most of you guys probably don't watch TikTok, but there's a TikTok where this little kid's like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. And the grandpa says, it's too damn bad.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
I've been saying that since we left the track. I've been repeating it over and over in my head. Saying, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. And the Camaro's like, oh, that's too damn bad. I'm half tempted to just not even put the polyglasses on it for the last event. Put my good transmission back in it with the trans brake. I've always run a trans brake in this car, never used it, but I've always ran it. Put a set of Caltrax on it and use the drag radials and see how fast I can go with this thing. Always wanted to launch off the trans brake. I've always wanted to just send the thing with no timing retard and see what it would actually run if I could ever get it to that point. Because, I mean, Kirkham's car doesn't have a bit of timing control on it, and it's just working. And I kind of know why, not going to go into much detail on why it works and why I believe it works, but that's like almost impossible to do with the Camaro. But I don't know. I'm going to try it. Not giving up just yet. I really want to, but I'm not. I don't really want to have to build a Corvette all winter and race it next year. I'll just stick with the Camaro. My dad's car, it's getting that's his old motor that was hurt. The motor that's in it is the motor that we put in Kirkham's car. And we are finally doing the suspension upgrades that I've wanted to do to that thing for a very long time. So I'm actually super excited about that. So if I don't put this on polyglasses for the last race for Fast in October, I kind of get to focus on that thing and actually watch it go down the racetrack, make suspension adjustments, because I believe we can put that thing into the 20s fairly easy. It's about to get traction bars put on it, and we're going to send it to the low 9s. Hopefully, I really like to go 890s with it. If it can go like a low 120, 60 foot, which it's got everything to do that, it might be able to do it. I don't know. I mean, it's been 950s with a 146 60 foot. Usually a 10th in the 60 foot equates to 2 tenths on the big end. So I don't know if I can launch it and it can go low 120s and not have to pull any timing out of it. It might fly. I don't know. That'll also be a good test to drive this thing like I drove Kirkham's Corvette, just to see what we got there. But that's gonna be it. No good updates for you, just bad updates like normal. But that's gonna wrap up this video. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.